My name is EMilord. My presentation is about a 7-year-old girl named Tanya Johnson, who's in second grade. Tanya has been struggling with reading since first grade, and the problem is she doesn't get any support at home. Her mother doesn't read to her. She's never been taken to the museum or the public library. So Tanya was the perfect candidate for the informal reading inventory in order to assess her reading and grade level. The IRI was administered at her home to ensure that she felt comfortable. I completed the interest inventory form to have a feel of the type of reading that she enjoys, and also to be sure to keep the testing session interesting and also keep her engaged. I prepared a word list 2 grades below her grade in order to assess her word recognition ability. At the primer level, this is the list of the word that was used. At the primer level, Tanya did very well, though she showed some level of hesitation reading certain words, but she ended up reading only 3 words incorrectly. So at that point, we moved on to the first grade word list, which is this one here. So with the first grade list, Tanya showed significant difficulty reading many of the words. She was struggling to identify many words. She skipped some words, and at the end she started feeling frustrated. So at that point I asked her to stop the reading. I then proceeded to the oral passage. At the kindergarten level, Tanya performed at a 90% score. She answered some of the questions, though it took her a little time to answer, but at the end, her answers were correct. And similar to the word recognition inventory, when she got to the first grade oral passage, Tanya exhibited a lot of difficulty reading. She was stumbling on words. She was reading words incorrectly, and at that point, to me, that was an indication that the passage was too hard for her. So at that point, I stopped the oral passage reading. I then proceeded with the silent reading. The results were the same as the oral passage. When she got to a point where she was feeling frustrated, I stopped the IRI for a few minutes and tried to lift up her spirit. Then I proceeded to the listening capacity. When I was done with the read aloud, I asked her to retell the story. And ask her some questions about the story. She did much better at the first grade level at this time. So this concludes that because she struggles to read certain words, she can't concentrate on reading and understanding the text at the same time. So 80% of her answers were correct, which puts her at the first grade comprehension level when she's read to. Based on the result of the RRI, the intervention program will consist of an extensive phonics program because Tanya couldn't make the use of letter sound to identify certain words. She needs to understand the relationship between letters and sound that leads to the ability to read. She will receive instruction in phonemic awareness, decoding, spelling, and fluency. She will also be given worksheets to practice at home. In addition to the phonics instructions, Tanya will also be observed for guided reading on a daily basis as well as read aloud. These are the strategies that are in place for Tanya's reading skills development. This is an example of one of the worksheets that are going to be used for Tanya's reading development. As part of the plan, we will also be using formative assessment as well as summative assessment to determine the effectiveness of the program. Thank you very much for listening.